Hey everybody, it's the author. You're joining me for a later edition of Fast 15. Normally we drop these during midday, about 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, midweek, because sometimes you need that midweek pick me up. We had to kind of take a breather last week, and then this week we had some other moving parts, so we're putting it on a little bit later, but it's still the same opportunity to pause, check up, check in, enjoy a note from any of the books or audiobooks, close out with a couple of announcements and updates, and get you on your way. So, before we go ahead and dive right in, as we always do, thank you for taking time to pause and check up and check in with us. And of course, depending on when you're seeing this, some of you may be going through it, and there's some people that are legit going through some challenges, whether they're physical, mental, or what have you. Please take the time you need just to kind of pause and reset and look at things for what they are and then proceed accordingly. And of course, if what you're going through requires professional attention, get the professional help that you need. If it means just kind of changing up your routine or those types of things, make the positive changes in order for you to be in a better space, and then you can help others around you be in a better space. On the flip side, there are a number of us that are coming along pretty well for the most part. Of course, take those moments to pause, breathe, reflect, give thanks, celebrate, feed off the positive energy, and things along those lines, and get ready for what's next, because we know there's going to be something that comes up around the corner. But we want to just make sure that we're prepared and we can feed off of the positives that we've experienced, help prepare us for those life hurdles. Speaking of hurdles, there's a lot of things going on, whether it's early voting, primary voting, the current landscape. For some people, anxiety with graduation. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot that can kind of, just get you in a tizzy. And this is where we do kind of have to pause and look to the past to prepare us for the present and the future. So, like they say, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. So even though today is not the first Wednesday of the month, is the first Wednesday we're doing this. So I'm going into the archives to pick the book Why We Can't Wait from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This really chronicles a lot of what was taking place in the early 60s, including the letter from Birmingham jail. But I want to read an excerpt. I hope I did not lose it. Yeah, I found it. An excerpt, a chapter from this book, which is called The Days to Come. Now, this was written in the 1960s. And surprise, surprise, we're seeing some of the same things happen because we haven't learned from history. But I want to read this and give people something to think about as we're looking at the current landscape. So here it goes. The pattern of future action must be examined not only from the standpoint of the strengths inherent in the civil rights movement, but simultaneously from a study of the resistance we have yet to face. While we can celebrate that the civil rights movement has come of age, we must also recognize that the basic recalcitrance of the South has not yet been broken. True, substantial progress has been made. It is deeply significant that a powerful financial and industrial force has emerged in some southern regions, which is prepared to tolerate change in order to avoid costly chaos. This group in turn permits the surfacing of middle class elements who are further splitting the monolithic front of segregation. Southern church, labor, and human relations groups today articulate sentiments that only yesterday would have been pronounced treasonable in the region. Nevertheless, a deeply entrenched social force, convinced that it need yield nothing of substantial importance, continues to dominate Southern life. And even in the North, the will to preserve the status quo maintains a rock like hardness underneath the cosmetic surface. So to me, this is what he's saying. Yes, there are gains that have been made, and there are things to celebrate, but there's still work to do. And even if you look right now, when he was talking about the South, take a look at what's going on in the Southeast. And it's not by accident, it's by design, which means the efforts have to be by design to continue to push back against the pushback. And even in areas where, quote, it does not seem as blatant, it is still there. So this to me just says we should celebrate the successes. But we have to be reminded there are battles to fight, and we cannot be complacent, because being complacent combined with elections have consequences can create some problems. So take note from what was written in the early 1960s by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Why we can't wait. Make sure to check it out. Speaking of checking out, a couple of quick things. First off, shouts to the Alphas of Atlanta for doing a great event, their 11th annual Alpha Derby weekend. So check them out at Alphas of Atlanta and Alpha underscore Derby. Great job. Many thanks to the Carolinas International Book Fair. It was great being a participating author for their third edition of their festival at the end of April. Shouts to Maracas Bar and Majority Greek Magazine. I had a fun time at the authors talk that we just had this past Saturday at the venue. Thank you to everybody that came out and supported. Yeah, and just of course, general thanks to everybody that's supporting all the bookstores, book clubs, book festivals, all that, and then some. You guys are awesome. Of course, happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms from this past Sunday. And of course, depending on where you are, it's graduation time. So, congratulations on those graduating from college, high school, your certification programs, all those types of things. We definitely celebrate you. And with Memorial Day weekend right around the corner, a big holiday weekend. So please, please, please be safe with your travels. I know whenever I travel by air, I got to mask up, all that type of thing. But please be safe. And like I said, there's a lot going on, and we'll dive in a little bit more, especially when I get more storage space. But having said all that, um, definitely thank you and appreciate each and every one of you for your support and encouragement. And hopefully, you're getting encouraged by what you're seeing here. So, we're going to go ahead and pause and kind of gear up for the evening. And for next week, we'll be back at the usual time um, during the week. Yeah, during the day. Okay, guys, listen, all of you continue to take good care, be safe while you're out and about. Thanks for staying connected. And like I say, whether small or big, a victory is a victory. Whether slow or swift, movement is movement. Keep it victorious, keep it moving. I'll see you guys soon.